In the 18th century, Timothy Dexter was a real-life rags to riches story, living out the American dream at the birth of the nation. Highly eccentric and uneducated, his ability to achieve his wealth seemed impossible and has been highly scrutinized throughout history. With his unorthodox business sense and his capacity to be at the right place at the right time, his success and fortune seemed accredited to luck than anything else. This week on Cheeky Boys, we'll dive into the unusual life of Timothy Dexter, the luckiest man in history. Hi, I'm Adam, the special guest.
All right. Good intro, Adam. Welcome to the podcast called Cheeky Tales.
Oh, did I say Cheeky Boys? I swear I watch this every week.
It's not a video podcast. It's an audio podcast.
Cheeky Boys and
Cheeky Boys, the video podcast.
What have I been watching?
I thought you guys just wore costumes.
Sorry. Just before we started recording, there was a unsavory comment mentioned by myself. And Adam's just going, Cheeky Boys, what I've been watching. I know what I've been watching.
Oh, well, this has started well, hasn't it?
It has.
Cheeky Boys.
Would you like me to do that again?
No.
Okay. All right.
I think we get into it. So, Adam.
I'm so glad there's no video. My face is so red right now.
Adam, welcome to the Cheeky Tales podcast. You're our
Cheeky
second
Tales.
guest.
Sorry, Cheeky Boys is the other one that I was.
We're the Cheeky Boys. Oh, our second
I'm
guest.
sorry. I stopped listening after he said Cheeky Boys. I don't know what this week's about.
Now, before we get any further, speaking of special guests, it has been brought to my attention by our original guest, Sean,
Inaugural guest.
our inaugural guest, that we owe specifically him, because he's the only one that's complained about it, an apology. Last week's episode, Halley's Comet. It's not Halley's, it's Halley's.
Yes.
We got it wrong. The whole episode.
The whole episode. If only we had some we could do it live and had a live chat for people to scream at us at the time. But no, we got it wrong. It's Halley's Comet.
Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean.
And, anyone else that cared.
And Edmund Halley.
All of you.
I'm assuming his last name was Halley, not Haley.
Yeah.
Since it's named after him.
But now that we've got that out of the way, Adam.
Also, speaking of last week's episode.
What?
It was also brought up last week's episode about my shirt.
Oh, the holy shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I got home, it died. Because as I took it off, it got stuck in my head and just completely ripped.
You've only had a week so far to listen to it, Adam. Have you heard about John's shirt last week?
No, I haven't yet.
So he comes in the door and I see that he's wearing an older shirt. That's fine. He walks through the door. I shut the door. I turn around and all I can see is most of John's back. Picture
like a halter neck.
Picture that. Yeah. It was basically like he just cut most of the back of the shirt out. It was an astonishing sight. It was like he had the head hole, but on his back.
Was it all red on the back? Same color as his hair, or
very hairless?
Get out! Yeah. You are no longer welcome to tell your story. Get out!
I want to hear it.
See you guys.
Just want to put that pillow back up.
Yeah, I was going to say it was heading for the beer.
Yes.
Oh jeez!
I'm not going to be the only one soon.
Oh no!
See, I purposely put my beer away from me so that
the pillow's gone for it twice.
But yet it remains upstanding.
Yeah.
So.
He's already higher than you on the
we'll see.
Not ruining my carpet.
To go.
All right. So what do you got for us, Adam? It sounds like an 1800s.
Almost.
Is it 1800s or 1700s?
No, 18th century.
So 1700s.
Yeah, 1700s, but right on the turn of the century.
Yeah. So this sounds like a bit of an idiot savant, an uneducated, eccentric person.
Yes, very much.
I'm getting a very Dan Sickles vibe, and I'm already starting to get worked up because
Dan Sickles was
did hear
smart.
that one.
He was just disgusting.
Flashbacks to Dan Sickles.
I'm excited to tell you this tale because this guy, I think, is the luckiest guy in history.
I want to hear this. I love lucky people.
All right, let's begin.
Let's roll that dice and
let's get lucky.
There you go.
That was terrible. All right.
They're meant to be.
Haven't you worked that out yet?
All right. Timothy Dexter was born to Nathan and Esther Dexter on the 22nd of January, 1747. in the province of Massachusetts Bay. His family of origin only trails back 100 years prior, with his family immigrating from Ireland. Despite the prospects of the promise of the New World, they would remain poor, which would be the staple of the Dexter family in the coming generations. To add insult to injury, his birth was pre-independence, technically making him British, an insult to any Irish citizen.
Yeah. And just people in general.
Yeah.
Cop that, Mason. See if you're still listening.
Is he Irish, is he?
No, he's British.
Oh, British, right.
Yeah. So we got a British-born male.
Well, technically he's born in America, but still under...
prior to independence.
It
Well,
is
as I say,
a
he's
British...
born in the country
Yeah.
that would become America,
Yes.
You know,
but as a
Imagine-
British citizen.
Imagine being in a country that changes from one country to another and all the paperwork you'd have to do with
I mean,
that.
you could fly to Ukraine right now and find out what that's like.
Oh, boy. Well, speaking of them, you've heard of the cosmonaut, right? He was the last Soviet Union citizen. He
No.
was on, I think it was the Mir space station.
Should this be a tale?
Not really. It's
Okay.
too short. He was on the Mir space station when the Soviet Union fell, or whichever one it was at the time. And so he was still in space, so couldn't sign his paperwork to like make himself a Russian citizen. And then he just like the return just kept getting pushed back. And eventually they were like, all right, you got to come back to Earth. He comes back to Earth, but he's got no papers because he's a Soviet citizen and he hasn't been moved over to Russia yet. So they're like, what do we do with this guy? Just a whole mess of like, he was the last person to be a Soviet citizen because he was in space.
I feel like you could have brought this up last week.
Well, I mean, we were talking about
The last
Britishism,
episode.
became American.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I'll bring it up now. What are you going to do about it?
Interesting.
I don't think there was paperwork to sign over going, yeah, I'm an American citizen now. I think they just declared it.
Yeah, but like, you got to get new paperwork.
Okay. I think it will make more sense.
All right.
Yeah, it'll make more
Who
sense.
has the social security number of one?
I have no idea.
George Washington.
Probably.
The failure of the British Empire became an American. Even though he was poor, he still attended school like most children, though quite early on he realized school wasn't for him and entered the workforce at the age of 8 as a farmhand. One source claims this wasn't a leisurely job and likened it to indentured servanthood, working long hours with little to no pay.
Ah, simpler times.
Yeah.
Just get some poor children and chuck them on your farm.
I can't even get my 8-year-olds to do anything
Yeah.
where they live, like clean up their own room. Like,
Yep. Get them on the farm.
I can't imagine them working.
Yep. Oh, you don't want to go to school? Off to the farm.
I just love his conviction of, you know what, school's not for me. You know, I'm done. And just I'm
Time
gonna
to
be
get a trade.
It's time to
My 8-year-old doesn't know what they want for lunch. Like, and then he's making life decisions like, nah, no school, work.
Yeah. Imagine if he came to you and was like, hey, Dad, I think I might go get a job.
Yeah, it's Keen we're talking about. Yeah.
And a job also that doesn't pay well, and
Yeah.
it's likened to
Crazy.
a servant.
Yeah. Just kids, though. Ugh, it's built different.
Yeah.
Aren't we soft?
By the age of 16, however, he decided to improve his situation by becoming an apprentice tanner in Boston.
Tanner?
Tanner.
Okay. So leather.
Yeah, leather.
Yeah.
Quite a low-paying trade. He was fortunate enough to sit under a tanner who specialized in the Moroccan form, giving him quite a specialized trade that only few had mastered.
Okay. So he's poor, but he's got a good set of skills.
Right now, yes. So he managed to get to
right now.
sorry,
Why'd you say right now?
because it gets more interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. At the age of 21, he had completed his apprenticeship, upon which he received what's called a good suit for his hard work. One commentator stating,
Spades.
What?
it's checkered.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
he's got, I get it.
Suited.
Yeah,
Deck of cards. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Spades
Thank you.
is suit.
Thank you for
Yeah.
spelling it out.
Good suit.
Thank you for spelling it out.
Spades is the best.
I'm
suit.
more partial to diamonds myself.
Not the best, though.
Dexter had been sober and diligent. In fact, all evidence indicates that he was quiet and industrious. Though, as we will come to see, this would quickly dissolve into immorality and foolishness.
Immorality, eh?
Mm.
Oh, yes.
Honka, honka,
Wonder-
wink, wink.
Wonder if he met Mr. Anal.
No one's going to get that. That's we
Excellent.
include the entire first
That's
part
for
of
us.
this recording.
Us alone. Selling his good suit for $8.20, he traveled to Newburyport, Massachusetts for a fresh start. Newburyport was known for its idyllic town where rich and poor mingled, large enough to be self-sustaining, but not so large to hide among the crowds. Fortunately, the area had an economic boom, with an increase of ships being built, drawing in many artisans and tradesmen to the area. This would be a positive step for Timothy, as his specialized trade would help him monopolize the market. It is here that things truly change for Timothy, and his incredible luck would begin.
All right. So we're past the boring stuff like the child labor.
Yeah.
We're into the luck.
I thought it would be important to show like this guy came from nothing.
Yeah.
He had nothing. He had very little education.
Bit of a pov.
And he was a tradesman. And we all know tradesmen don't earn much these days. Well, painters don't anyway.
It depends. I got a few electricians who
Yeah, but do you classify
probably earn
them
more
as a
than they
trade?
should.
Yeah.
Cop that.
I don't have a trade, so I'm out of this conversation.
Yes.
You're even lower than us.
I know a
You're
few.
beneath us.
I know a
peasant.
few office workers who make too much. Yeah.
So I called this next section, it's Fortune favors the lucky.
Okay.
Okay. With the hodgepodge of social classes interacting with each other, Timothy would soon meet 32-year-old Elizabeth Forthenham, 9 years his senior and widow of a business associate.
This guy's already better than Daniel Sickles. He's going the other way.
Starting to see some of this immorality coming in.
Yeah.
She would be quite well off, being part of the family.
I'm sure she was quite well off.
Cougar.
You'll find she has an interesting background too.
Okay.
But being part of the family who would produce a governor, and John Gilman, who was part of the Congress from 1782 to 83, and would later be the fifth governor of New Hampshire from 1794 and 1805, and again in 1813 and 16. Elizabeth represented the echelon of high society. As such, Timothy sought after her, eventually marrying her in 1770, and would soon use her money to purchase a mansion and set up his own business in the basement selling gloves, trousers, and hides. This would be the first of many events that would be contributed to luck.
So he's lucky enough to land the hot cougar with
Yes.
the big wallet.
With the big back
big
pocket.
wallet, yeah.
Big purse is what I meant to say, but
Right.
yep.
So this is a guy who has dropped out at the age of 8.
Yep. Got himself a sick job.
He was a farmhand.
Yeah.
He became an apprentice,
Yeah.
moved to a town, and then managed to hook the 32-year-old rich widow
Yeah.
who's not.
You did mention she was a widow. She's a widow.
He did.
Oh
mention
yes,
that.
I did.
Did he?
I did mention that.
Okay, sorry, I missed it.
Yes,
John
obviously.
misses a lot of the details.
Huh?
Oh, yes,
What? Where am I? What are we
You
doing?
remember in the Niki Lauda
Oh,
James
come
Hunt
on.
episode?
yes.
We get like 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, no, Niki Lauda's Austrian. I
Yeah.
said that in the opener. Yeah.
Yes. He just flies off. But here's the thing. He's not even 25 yet.
Yeah.
So
Young buck.
he's just gone
Oh, man, that's younger
into
than me.
wealth. So this is the first time his family, the Dexter family, has ever seen the amount of wealth that that
So he's
experiencing.
already doing well for himself.
And let me guess, he immediately went back and paid it back to his family, like helped his family out.
Absolutely not.
No.
See ya.
Yeah.
Peace out, you poor.
Yeah, he was like, peace.
Haha, you're poor.
His ambitions didn't stop there. Wanting to be accepted by the high society, he would, who held no respect for an uneducated man, he would repeatedly petition to hold a seat in public office. Annoyed, they would eventually offer him the seat of informer of deer, which he was
There's a
satisfied.
deer over there.
Yes, he had the job title was to count deer.
Really?
That was it. It was to inform the people how many deer were in the area.
I
So you
feel
know-
like that's not enough for a full-time job.
Oh no! Well, here's the thing. Here's the kicker. He was satisfied with this, yet this was secretly an offensive joke that went over Tim's head because the last deer disappeared from the area 19 years prior.
Right.
His job was to count something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was just a slap in the face.
So, do you
So
know,
he's just wandering around like, oh, geez, deer numbers are low this year.
It's 0. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't see any.
you know how you have people.
What's the point of that? Like, how's he supposed to count them? Like, even if there are deer, you don't have a way of like tagging them and then tracking the tags and like.
But what if it was like sheep where he'd go 1,
Yeah.
and then you'd have to wake up and start again, and then be like, okay, 1, 2. You just never get it done.
I just don't see how this job would like.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be
the
a
joke
joke.
that the job exists.
The joke is that the deer aren't
Yeah,
there.
there's no deer. I get that bit, but
He was
like,
given a- he was
is
given
this
a
a
useless
legitimate
job.
job that used to exist?
No, they made the
Right,
job
okay,
for
so
him so
they
that
weren't-
they would shut up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say, you know how you have people who make up titles for their mundane jobs?
I have done that before. Yeah,
What was a deer informant? Was
Informer of deer.
That
Yeah.
sounds like one of those things. Like
Yeah.
your job is to count. I'm a informant of deer.
I was once a
Was it underwater
not
ceramic
underwater.
hygienist,
It was
wasn't it?
hydraulic ceramic. Not hydraulic ceramic hygienist.
Yeah, dishwasher.
I had one of those jobs. In 1775, America would begin the famous 8-Year War, the American Revolution.
How long did it go for?
Now, I think
it was more
it
than
went
7
for
years.
5 years.
It wasn't 8 years. I know that.
It was.
Oh, no, that's the 100 Years War. That wasn't 100 years.
Yes, that's correct. It was 8 years.
Bruh, at least I know that.
Don't bruh me.
You're the one with the backwards hat, bruh.
Shut up. It's cool.
Don't worry, John. I think it's cool.
Thank you.
Where was I?
Sick, bruh.
With no money, the rushed, disorganized Congress was formed and initiated continental currency, which they would use to fund the war, which pioneers would buy into. Congress would commission $2 million, thinking that this would be more than enough to fund the war effort. However, the war lasted much longer than expected, ending in 1783, with the currency devaluing over time, concurrent to the hope of winning the war. Spending was so bad, in 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed, and to celebrate the auspicious occasion, they printed another $19 million. By the end of the war, Congress had commissioned almost $250 million.
Wow. And they started with 2 million.
They started with 2 million, and then they just kept printing and printing and printing until the point where they had $250 million in the
Wow.
That lessens the actual value of the dollar,
Yeah.
though, right?
That's called inflation, baby.
Exactly. But it actually, that inflation, I'll tell you how bad it got, because the British also, seeing that they were printing this money, they also got involved and started printing the currency in England and then shipping it over and distributing.
They were
through.
shipping.
So they made fake currency
They made
notes.
fake American currency.
Yes.
And then shipped it over.
and gave
Wow,
it to.
that's cruel.
And so that was another technique that the British was using in order to destabilize America. So in the war effort.
Man,
So
Britain's petty.
yeah, it didn't help that it was very easy to reprint. So it was quite bad. But
Just
here's
a bit of paper with $1 America.
there is a reason why I'm talking about this, because this is actually
America.
there is a reason why I'm talking about this, because it actually is quite important. I'll tell you how bad the devaluing got. To put it into perspective, it had devalued by $1 coin to $4 of paper money by 1777. Even with the French joining the fight in 1778, it increased by 8-1. In 1781, it is estimated the continental currency was worth between 75 to 210 to 1, with the differences depending on which state you lived. The phrase "not worth a continental" became synonymous with worthlessness. So
Okay, I've literally never heard that before, but
no, because we're Australian, but
Yeah.
it was a well known phrase that it wasn't worth the paper it was written on.
So this isn't the USD we're talking about.
No.
The American dollar we know today. It was what the continental.
The continental currency
Okay.
the almighty dollar.
Remember, and that was what they used in
to fund the war effort.
Right.
Because at this point there is no real centralized government.
Yep.
It was quite chaotic.
Okay.
Now you're probably wondering why the heck I'm talking about this. Well, it
I
has.
wasn't, but
Oh,
continue.
okay, cool. I'm glad.
Adam, why were you talking about this? I'm wondering.
Adam, tell me. I'm so confused.
Well, Timothy Dexter. It has to do with Timothy Dexter.
Okay.
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 It does. All right,
Who's he?
believe it or not.
Surprisingly,
I did just go in
He's the topic of the podcast. It's got nothing to do with this dude. It was
Yeah.
just
I just didn't have an interesting thing about him, so I just
I just
started
wanted
talking
to talk about currency.
Just wanted to talk about currency.
Currency nerd.
Well, in 1781, when the currency had devalued the most, some high societal men jokingly told him to spend all of his money on the continental currency, which, taking them on their word, he did just that. This had to be the stupidest investment anyone could have made.
I'm going to stop you there for a second. Boy, you want to give us where this is going?
I don't know. What? Why me?
Because you're the other listener. You can have a guess at what's going to happen. He's just been told to spend
He's putting
all
all
of
his money
money.
in the continental currency.
Which
He's going to have bought the wrong currency of some sort, for sure.
No, I reckon he's just bought in the dip. This thing's going to go to the moon like a cryptocurrency.
So when did they tell him to invest?
In 1781, right when the value of the currency was the worst.
Oh, yeah, he's bought the dip.
He's bought in the dip.
Yeah.
He's
Dogecoined it.
Yeah, he's Dogecoined it. And
He's
this thing's
1700 Dogecoined it.
this thing's going to take off, and he's going to turn his $100, and it's going to just the value of it's going to skyrocket.
Yeah.
And his $100 is going to
Because
turn.
America's going to end the war.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're going to have bulk dollar
All right,
bills
Adam,
again.
tell us if we're right. Let's go. Keep going.
Okay, so someone said that it was irresponsible at best, suicidal at worst. Yet, after the war, the government wanted to save face and wanted to be portrayed as a leadership that wouldn't cause misery to their citizens. So the government, to the shock of the people, brought back the continental currency as bonds at 1% of the face value. This doesn't sound like much, but Timothy bought a lot of dollars at a ridiculous cost. Tim would make $10,000 profit, eventually leading him to build 2 ships, Mehitabel and the Congress, for export.
Oh, so he's in import-export now.
He does get into that because he's right at the port where there's ships being built. And so he thought, why not get onto that?
Buy a ship?
I'll buy a ship. I'll buy 2 ships.
So where is he? Is this still happening in
2 for 1.
Massachusetts? Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
It's still
In
in there,
Newburyport.
Okay, yep.
You know,
Yeah. So
Newburyport.
it is here that some consider the legend of Timothy Dexter truly began. His eccentric behavior would become worse, becoming further unpredictable and irregular.
What about the blokes like, oi, Tim, go buy,
Put your money in this garbage money.
Yeah. And then they sit back and go, oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Oh, no. Could I have one of them ships?
Oh, I gave you that good advice. Can I?
Yeah, remember when I gave you that great advice?
Yeah, can I borrow your ship for the weekend? I need to do some importing.
Well,
I've got some import to do, if you know what I mean.
what's interesting is that this would actually be a common theme for Timothy Dexter. He would take the word of these high societal men constantly throughout his
Who were
business
just
dealing.
making fun of
We
him.
were trying to ruin him, and they're
trying to ruin him.
and they're just making him.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
rich. Yeah.
Oi,
Yeah. So
Timothy.
So I didn't do a comparison, but $10,000 is quite a lot of money during that period of time.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine.
So I'm just
lot of money
pointing-
now.
Yeah. So I haven't. The next section that I decided to call this, and
Yep.
it's don't stop while you're hot, and there's a reason why I called it that
Good
way.
life advice.
I love we got little chapter names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got chapter names.
Don't stop.
And
Why
you know,
not?
all right, I'm gonna say this. So I said this to my wife Christine, and I said, "Oh, I've got
Shout out.
shout out."
Do it.
And I said to her that I've got little chapter names, and she's like, "Oh, really?" You know,
Oh,
Yeah.
savage burn.
and I
really,
said, "Oh, they're
Adam?
fun," and I said they're a little bit
Really?
of a. I thought they were a little bit of a pun, and you'll see why. And she goes, "Yeah, but really?" So
You know what, Christine?
Not a fan of the chapter names.
Not a fan of chapter
But the
names.
cheeky boys are.
Let's see how it plays out. Let's
Okay,
see who
yeah,
wins.
yeah.
Adam
I've
Adam
gone-
versus Christine on chapter titles.
I've gone
okay,
with
so remember,
Call
don't
early.
stop while you're hot. His recent success would only irritate the high society, and they would become jealous of his success. They decided they would.
Because he's an idiot.
Yes, he's an absolute idiot.
Oi, put your money in this, it'll go great.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
It actually
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
no.
So you're right. They decided that they would sabotage his newfound business venture in order to bankrupt him. Despite his wealth, he was still largely uneducated. So the rivals used this to their advantage to give him terrible business advice. Firstly,
I'm unwillingly
Just
commit
a-holes.
insurance fraud and make more
Yeah.
money or something.
You know what's a great idea? Get an insurance claim, then burn your car.
no one would ever know. Firstly, they advised him to send bed warmers, typically used for the heat to heat the beds in the cold New England winters, to the West Indies. These islands are known for their tropical heat.
Typically warm, yep.
Yes. Taking them at their word, he bought 42,000 pans. If this didn't work, he would be bankrupt, reportedly garnering laughter from the experienced traders. However, the ship's captain was a little more astute than Timothy Dexter and sold them as ladles to the local molasses industry, with many buying 3 or 4, marking up the price of the pans by 79%, making a fantastic
Wow.
profit.
So really, it wasn't Timothy getting that
No,
right.
it was the captain.
It was a
It was
ship
the captain,
Oh, captain, my captain.
but the fact is that it's contributed to his luck.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they didn't have much to use for the molasses and they
Yeah.
saw this as a fantastic tool, the ship captain just went, "Oh yeah, you can use that," and so
Yeah.
that's what happened. So
You ever heard of the molasses flood?
No.
All right.
I have heard.
You've heard of it?
I have heard of it,
Hmm.
and it's not nice.
No. I'll
It's
keep
very-
that one.
Yeah.
Keep that one locked away in my pocket here, boy.
Radio.
This would only fill Timothy Dexter with confidence with future advice. Being convinced to sell woolen gloves to the same place. This would not be a huge selling frenzy. Tim thought it would. However, by chance and unbeknownst to anyone, Asian merchants would arrive near the end of the time at the West Indies. To Tim's luck, the Asian merchants were looking for woolen gloves to sell at their next destination, Siberia.
Oh,
They brought all the gloves.
notoriously not warm.
They brought all the gloves, giving Tim again an amazing profit.
It's just even this time he's got it wrong. Like he gets them to the West Indies and they're like, oh man, they're not selling
I
well.
just love that he's just like, whoa, there must be cold at the West Indies,
Yeah.
and so how about woolen gloves? And everyone just went, no, you're an idiot. And then
Yeah, great
some
idea,
merchants come along and they just go, yeah, actually, no, we could use them.
Maybe he just doesn't understand sarcasm.
And yeah, okay.
Yeah, Tim.
Can I
Sell bed warmers in the West Indies. Oh, all right.
So here's my little point that I think now can't really.
Or he's actually brilliant. He knew that the Asian merchants were coming and
Well, believe it or not, some people tend to think that he was more intelligent than.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either, because the stories that I hear just means that it's just so bizarre. But everyone's just like, no, he's just really good business sense.
once or twice, yeah, luck. But this is
Yeah.
if this happens like
Keeps happening.
keep it happening.
Right? Okay. But I think personally that he might have like spurges of some kind.
Just no impulse control.
Just
Why are you
unable.
laughing at that? That's nothing to laugh at, boy. Jeez.
You're horrible.
Yep. All right then. Attack me, sure. Cancel me.
You heard it here first, folks.
Aaron
Cancel him.
hates Asperger's people.
Oh, jeez. No. Oh, no. I am going to get cancelled.
He really doesn't.
The reason
Oh, I'm
why
gonna have
the
to
reason
release a
why I
public
think
statement.
the reason why I think this is because he's as you'll see in the story, it almost seems like he's unable to pick up on social cues,
Yeah.
and so I wonder whether or not this is something that is the case.
Yeah. It does kind of feel like that, doesn't it?
Yes.
like you said, doesn't understand
Sarcasm. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you went so well selling those
Yeah.
bedpans in West Indies. Why don't you sell gloves down there? Okay.
Yes, and then the fact that they showed up right near the end of their stay at the West
Yeah.
Indies, like,
I
is
thought you were going to say it was going to, like he had all these wooden gloves and like just this unseasonal cold front come down. You know, like,
yeah.
was it last year in the States? Like just at the end of
Texas.
summer? They just
Yeah.
Yeah.
froze?
yeah,
I thought you were going to
Texas.
say something like that happened and he just, all the gloves sold and
Yeah.
made like,
Millions.
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 So you can understand why I called that section "Don't Stop While You're Hot."
Don't stop while you're hot.
Because
And-
West Indies is hot.
Yes, exactly.
I
And
got it.
And he didn't stop either.
I schmort.
now the next
Baileys.
section I've called "Curiosity Cold the Cat."
Cold the cat. Ooh,
Yeah,
he's
cold.
getting some temperature puns.
No, that's not temperature. Cold, as in coal.
Oh, cold.
Black stone.
The cat. Oh, I got
Yes.
the black lung.
Curiosity cold the cat. Okay.
Okay.
At this point, Timothy Dexter's luck was beginning to precede him, and with many jokingly telling him to ship coal to Newcastle.
Okay.
It is here that his lack of education might have caused him to misunderstand the comment. During this period, ship coal to Newcastle was an idiom. It meant a pointless action. It wasn't worth your time. Here's why. Newcastle's number one...
Giant coal mine in Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle's like the world's biggest exporter of coal or something at this time.
That is the exact
That's exactly
point.
it. Yeah. Thought it might be.
It is
Yeah, Timothy, why don't you just try and sell some coal in Newcastle? Oh, all right.
You know the Australian, get ready on the beat, boy. You know the Australian slang, we're not here to spiders.
Beep. Oh,
Do you want to try that again?
yeah.
We're not here to
Beep.
spiders. Imagine if someone said that to him. What was he?
Yeah.
What would he do?
Well, there must be a way to make money doing it.
We're not here to put shoes on caterpillars. Like, could you imagine what if he just making
get one of them,
hundreds of
Matt.
tiny little shoes?
Get me the thickest huntsman you can find.
Oh, yeah.
What is the spider with the thickest abdomen? Is it like a
I don't
trapdoor or
want
a
to have
funnel
this
web?
discussion. I don't want to talk about the
You
spider
brought
that
it
you
up.
most want to bang.
I didn't say that at all. You
Wait.
just brought up the thickest spider. I was just trying to think of what the thickest spider was.
I don't. Funnel web? No.
It would most likely be a tarantula or something like that. Anyways, I don't know why we're talking about this. You're weird. Newcastle's number one export was coal. They relied on the sale of coal as their number one source of income. In fact, it was the world's largest supplier of coal at the time.
Okay.
So selling coal to Newcastle was like trying to sell ice to an Eskimo. It was pointless. Tim unfortunately took this to be more wise advice and proceeded to send coal to Newcastle.
Brilliant. They're exporting it all. They're not using it themselves, are they?
Not quite.
Oh.
They are using it. So, in disbelief, many would ridicule him for his stupidity.
So where did he get the coal from? Tell me he actually got it, like its origin was from Newcastle. And he's just sent
Bought it from
back.
Newcastle.
Sent it
Send
back.
it back.
This is great. I have no idea where he got the coal from. It's not really stated, nor was it something that I thought was information that
My
is
head
necessary.
canon, he's bought it from Newcastle. It's just fresh off the ship from the Newcastle. He's like,
Send
send
it
it
back.
back.
Yeah, turn it around.
That's what's happening in my head.
Well, if there's all this coal here,
Turn the ship
surely they don't have much
around.
there.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I cannot be
Yeah.
I cannot be a failure.
I'm the best. All right. Yet, with the stroke of luck, at the time the coal arrived at Newcastle, there would be a massive miners' strike causing a shortage in supply of coal.
He's not a
Wow.
good businessman.
Wow.
He's just lucky. Idiot savant.
Oh, this is amazing.
Okay. I'll sell coal.
This would provide the necessary means for Timothy to make an incredible profit, selling
Yeah.
the coal at a premium. It is said that he would return with 1.5 barrels of silver.
Ooh.
Not knowing what type of barrel, this would most likely be a shipping barrel, 60 centimeters in diameter, that is 22.5 inches, and 85 centimeters in height, that's 33.5 inches, holding approximately 219 liters or 57.8 US gallons.
Silver's very
Yeah.
valuable.
Yes.
That is a lot
Yeah.
and quite heavy, I'm assuming.
Like just solid,
Yeah.
or is it in coins or?
I'm assuming, it just said silver, and I'm assuming it'll be in coins.
coins. Yeah.
I do like that this is still the era where they trade in commodities. Like,
Yes.
it's not money. It's like, you want this silver?
And there's
Give you
gold.
this silver.
Yeah.
Want some of this gold?
So he's got 1.5 of those barrels full of silver. Full of silver.
Full of silver. So
A minor strike.
a minor
So
strike.
The world's largest coal exporter, not pumping out coal. Oh, what's that coming in the harbour? Oh, it's a ship full of coal.
Look at all this coal. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
What genius sent this here?
Oh, no.
Doy. I'm Timothy.
He's just on the front of the boat going, I'm here.
Is this coal you need?
Wow.
And this is why, because of how successful he was, people assume that he was just intelligent.
Nah.
There's no way you could have predicted that because
Not a chance.
do you have where Newcastle is?
In UK,
Oh, it's in UK.
yes.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it is that Newcastle. It's not
It-
like a Newcastle in.
No.
America.
It is UK.
So it's taken days, weeks for it to get from Newbury to Newcastle.
It would take quite a while.
Yeah. So there's no way he could have predicted that they're going to strike.
At that time, no.
No.
So it was because of the shortage, he managed to sell all the coal and make a fantastic profit. And
What's he going to spend the silver on, boy? What stupid things are you going to spend the silver on, and how's it
Well-
going to turn around to make?
well, I will actually get to that very soon because he has quite a interesting lifestyle. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Some of that immorality coming out again.
it does come out. Again, seeing the strange success, they joke.
Big spiders.
Spiders.
He
You get
bought
a spider. You
opium.
get a spider.
Sent it to the opium dens.
Seeing the strange success, they jokingly told him to sell gloves to the South Islands. The South Islands being Hawaii, Cook Islands, and Tonga.
Hang on, they've done this joke before.
Yes.
Yeah, they've got him with gloves before.
But it was successful last time, so obviously it was good advice. Also known for their tropical weather. As his ship arrived at port, there was a Portuguese boat about to leave who were about to head towards China. So the Portuguese end up buying all the gloves to sell in China.
Just keeps doing it. He's just a glove genius.
It doesn't like he's getting all the, like, it doesn't not make sense.
But when's the point that these people? I'm assuming it's the same people telling him what.
It's the people, yeah. So
I have the best advisors.
just so you know, like this, to keep this in the background, this is a guy who was the rag to riches, but he has not been accepted by his peers.
Yeah, we'll give you the title of master, but we do not grant you a seat at the council.
Yes. Is that right? No, you can sit at the council, but you do not get the rank of master.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
At least I get the reference. Aaron doesn't know what
I
I'm talking
get the
about.
reference. I know what it is. I'm just not happy
but at
about
one-
getting it.
For
For all of our non-Star Wars nerd listeners, that's a Star Wars reference.
At which point do these guys who've given this advice going, actually, I'm going to do it this time? Like, I wonder if they
Maybe this
tried.
ridiculous advice.
I wonder
I'll
if
try
they
it.
tried
Yeah.
their ridiculous advice themselves and just
It
lost
failed.
so much money, and then they've
Yeah.
gone, okay, we'll tell this guy, and it makes like,
Right?
I want to know the story of
At
these
what
guys
point-
telling him the advice.
Yeah. Like, at what point
Yeah.
do you just go, you know what, I'm just going to follow what he does? However, that will come back.
Okay.
And so he would later be convinced to send stray cats to the Caribbean.
What?
I'm not even kidding.
He would later
Hang
be
on,
convinced to herd cats and
just-
send them to the
Not normal cats, stray cats.
Stray cats.
even- Good cats.
I know what's going to happen. They're going to have a plague of mice, and these
Oh, yeah.
stray cats are going to solve the problem.
You're pretty close.
Come on, man.
Fortunately for Tim, Newburyport was infested with stray cats.
Yep.
So bad was the situation, the town had a vote to exterminate them, but it failed to pass with a 50-50 vote.
So we got all these stray cats for free,
Yeah.
pretty much.
He's rounding up cats for free.
Well, he would offer money for any stray cat caught and guaranteed he would treat them well. He then placed them on a ship and sailed them to the Caribbean. This would not be something the locals would want on their precious island, except for the fact that they just before sending them, the Caribbean had a massive rat infestation.
Yeah.
And stray cats were exactly what they needed to
This is
control the
amazing.
population of
Come
rats.
on, man.
This is amazing.
This would make him a handsome profit.
Did he know about the rats beforehand?
That is contested.
Because, like, why would you do it otherwise? Why would you ship stray cats?
They suspect that he might have known. However,
He must have known.
unless he, sorry. Some say that it was and more people trying to make him bankrupt,
Yeah.
and it just flopped again. While others said, no, this is he's intelligent, he's smart, and he knew exactly what he was doing.
Again, I'm still stuck
I
on
don't
these
know.
aristocrats that are trying to bankrupt him.
Aristocats.
Aristocrat. They've gone, all right, let's make him send gloves to a warm place.
Yep.
Didn't work. All right, let's make him send coal to the largest coal distributor in the world. Didn't work. All right, let's try the glove thing again. Didn't work.
It's a glove thing again to a different set of
a
islands.
different place. Yeah. Then they've gone, okay, we've tried gloves and coat. What is the most ridiculous thing? Stray cats.
Stray cats.
Let's get him to send stray cats somewhere. They do. And there's a rat infestation.
Come on. And Timothy's still there like, you guys are the best.
He's
advisors.
lapping this up, just going, this is the best advice I've ever received.
Yeah.
Oh, this is incredible.
Stray cats.
Okay. At some point in his career, this is one that blew my mind. He would hoard whale bones by mistake.
By mistake.
Hang on. How by mistake?
Here's how. He would purchase so much, he monopolized the market, buying 340 tons. This came after mishearing.
That's just one whalebone.
Yeah. Look at my whalebone.
Oh, come on.
That's disgusting.
That's actually really bad.
Tell me
Sorry.
you thick spider.
Yeah.
Was it a sperm whale?
I don't-
That's a real whale. Don't look at me like that, boy.
I know. Yeah, all right. How
this
is the narwhal a real animal, by the way?
What, just an underwater unicorn?
Yeah, what's up with that? How is that a real animal?
because it is.
Yeah, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
But like, look at it.
Yeah, a unicorn crossed with a dolphin crossed with a dugong.
Isn't that the story that they think that's where unicorns came from? That the mythology.
The old seahorse cow.
Not actually a horse.
Not actually a horse.
Maybe. I
Anyways.
just can't believe that's a real. Like, if you've never
Thanks for
seen a
disrailing-
narwhal,
what am I saying? Derailing the
Yeah, good
podcast,
job.
boy. Thanks.
if you're a listener and have never seen a narwhal, just go Google narwhal.
Just think of it a dugong with a unicorn
It's a
spike on its
giant
head.
spike on its head.
Well, it actually comes from its mouth because it's actually a tooth.
I thought it was
There
on
you
its
go.
head.
No,
Yeah, I thought it was up here.
it's a tooth that goes through the skin.
Oh, I've got to see this.
Yeah. This you know what? Someone's going to Google that, and I'm going to be completely wrong.
Aaron's doing it right now.
Okay, while he's
Hang
doing
on,
that,
Adam. Hang on. Yep.
while he's doing that,
This
this
spell narwhal.
Narwhal.
That is NAR.
Mark Narwhalberg.
Essentially, it's an inside-out tooth.
that's what I thought. I thought I was right.
Firstly, the narwhal's tusk is actually an overgrown spiralized tooth, and it's one of only 2 teeth they'll ever possess.
Yep. And it spins around, and if I remember correctly, no one knows why and what
Yeah.
they use it for.
Incredibly sensitive on the outside.
They
10 million nerve endings on each one. Jeez.
anyways.
Anyway, this has been your podcast facts about narwhals.
Yeah.
Tune in next week for another fact.
This has been Narwhal Tales.
Still closer than what I did. This
Old Narwhal boys.
You make a joke about it, Adam. It's got to stay in.
yeah. This came after mishearing a sailor complain about being short of stay stuff. Thinking that whale bones would be a good alternative for holding the ship together, he would try and sell the bones to the sailor, which the sailor would inform him that stay stuff was slang for rigging. Defeated, he retreated. Yet Lady Luck was on his side because shortly after, France's fashion industry would turn towards large corsets, which used whale bones. He would quickly sell them at a 75% markup.
Unbelievable. Just, again.
I didn't see that one coming. French
Yeah.
fashion.
Uh-huh.
I need some of that whalebone to make the waist smaller.
Timothy, could you give us those whalebones? Don't know what accent that was. Not French, but whatever. What are you going to do about it?
It was a great attempt at something.
Just go, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah. And then
Baguette.
yeah.
Baguette.
A croissant. He would sell Bibles to the East Indies. So this is Indonesia,
Okay.
which was occupied by the Dutch, purchasing them at 12% under half price. Now, I did a massive research into this,
Yep.
and I was like, this is amazing, this story. I can't believe that he managed to sell Bibles in this area. However, I was looking at West Indies and not East
There you go.
Indies.
Got
And-
him, the old Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is an amazing story that I should put in there. However, it had nothing to do with Timothy, so which was sad because it is actually a really cool story,
Yeah.
and I won't go into it.
Okay.
But let's just say that a former slave managed to create a Baptist church in this area.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that actually brought in the other slaves in that area and grew his church
Cool.
through slavery.
through
Probably not
slavery.
through slavery.
As in through the slaves,
Yeah.
sorry, not through slavery, but through the slaves, which would actually end up being the catalyst of freeing them. So, anyways, the East Indies was owned by a private company that ended up giving its rights over to the government in 1800s. That is the Dutch government, because of piracy and rebellions in the area. This would ensure the population of the Dutch to help control the area until 1942, when the Japanese took over. However, because of the influx of the population and the Reformed Church being the primary church, it required more Bibles. Additionally, he also manipulated the situation, stating that you could go to hell if your family didn't have a Bible. So native locals also purchased the Bibles, selling over $47,000 worth of Bibles.
Wow.
This would be the only example of Tim using deceitful tactics to sell his merchandise.
Sounds like it's the only time he actually did business.
It does sound like that.
Yeah.
I added that in just to show that there wasn't just
Hardest he ever worked.
the hardest he ever worked was send over a telegram going, hey, tell everyone that they will go to hell if
They don't buy my product.
if they don't buy my
Good
product.
selling tactic.
I mean, we still see that happen nowadays, don't we?
Yeah. If you don't buy this Coke, hell!
What was the guy that used to be on early morning TV?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Old mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Have you heard about the guy that he like 3 times he tried to predict the end of the world? He was the televangelist, and he's just like,
I
world's
think I
gonna
have,
end.
yes.
Yeah. Did it 3 times, and people on the 3rd time were still like, all right, this time he must be telling the truth.
Yes, that was a Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
Yes. I forget his name. However, yes, he did that 3 times. Did you hear about the $650,000 found in a bathroom wall at Joel Osteen's church?
No.
Yeah, so a plumber went to the to fix the plumbing in the thing, and he knocked down a wall, and there was approximately $650,000 in cash inside the wall. Whereas a few years prior, they had put in an insurance claim stating that they had lost $650.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big controversy.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that was interesting, and probably not something that you want to on this podcast, because you don't want to be.
We don't want to be hard-hitting journalists.
He's the type of guy who would just throw the book at you.
Adam's going to get us sued.
Yeah.
That might bring us some listeners, though. Go ahead. Keep being
Look,
controversial.
I have no opinion on the matter. I just read articles.
Allegedly.
I do. Let's get us some listeners.
Yeah.
Osteen's a fraudster.
Look, I'm not saying anything. I am an independent thinker from this.
Adam's views don't. Wait, my views don't. The views of Aaron Payne do not.
Oh,
Represent.
you just doxed yourself.
The views of Aaron do not represent
We
the
have
views
our
of
full
Cheeky
names
Tales
on
or
the-
either of the Cheeky Boys.
Don't we have the full names
Yeah,
on
we
the
do.
description of the podcast anyway? Okay.
And we tag each other all the time on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so this it's not a pun. However, it is.
Ah, yes. I saw the bold. Adam's
Oh,
got another
did you?
title.
Yeah. So you can see why I called Curiosity Cold the cat.
Yeah.
Did you take these titles from like the Halo levels? You know, they have the title of each. Well, in the actual level, they come up with like little sections. They have, like,
No.
little
I
pun
didn't.
chapters.
I do love Halo. However, I did not do that. I do enjoy just making titles.
Okay.
Does it with his life.
I do.
Adam
This
making
next week of
breakfast.
my life will be called.
Adam cold the cat.
Come here, kitty. No, this is all things must come to an end.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I was going to lose money.
Oh, he's going to die.
he does die eventually.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No,
unfortunately.
his luck continues. He's still alive
He's the
today.
world's
making
oldest man.
Terrible business decisions and making millions off of it. His name is Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
right now.
Let's make reusable rockets into space. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Oh,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
it
we'll
actually
give you-
works really well.
Now's the time to invest in live sound.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy this NFT. Like, I don't.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little bit sad and a little bit risque.
Is he still
Don't tell
married
me
to
his
his
hot cougar wife
Yeah.
dies.
No. In fact, she outlives him.
Oh, no.
But they stay together.
Yes.
Okay, well
Oh,
that's
that's
happy.
good.
Yeah.
Stay together for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean, he's the
yes,
one- he's-
just for the kids.
He's the one making the money now.
Yeah.
Yes. During his escapades of luck,
Mm.
he would become famous or infamous among his fellow Newburyport citizens.
Mm.
With his fortune amassing, he decided he would try something new and became a socialite. However, being raised in low society, he was snubbed and mocked by his fellow high society colleagues. Trying to gain their support and approval, he bought a large house from a well-known socialite, Nathaniel Tracy. Timothy Dexter would spend an exorbitant amount of money on his new purchase by decorating it with minaret towers overlooking the sea. These are viewing towers.
Mm.
A golden eagle in a dome on the ceiling.
Ego.
Radical.
A mausoleum for himself after he died,
Sick.
which sadly after his death the council would not allow him to be buried in.
Aw.
It is said that after paying for a coffin of the finest mahogany, he took to sleeping in it for several weeks, finding it to be comfortable.
I mean, it probably was.
It's a bit
yeah.
creepy.
It's a bit creepy.
It's a
A
bit
bit
creepy.
creepy,
A bit
but
creepy.
Yeah.
It's a bit creepy.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll do that. The house currently serves as the Newburyport Public Library.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's remained. However, it has gone through different owners, and I think it was in 1986 they tried to burn off the paint and to
Burn off the paint.
to refurbish the place, and ended up burning most of it down.
Of course they did.
And
Why
so
would you burn off the paint?
it was a practice back in that day, back in the 80s.
Well, that's dumb. Just sand it.
We did it here in Australia.
Okay, it doesn't make it any less dumb.
It's very easy.
All right, sure.
Use like a quick torch and a scraper. You just
Yeah.
heat it up.
All
Exactly.
right, all right. They did burn the place down, though.
They did.
Are you telling me you've never
however-
accidentally burned a place down, boy?
Actually, yeah, I am telling you that.
Okay, fair enough.
Do it once and you're an arsonist. Anyways,
Do it twice and you're an arsonist.
Do it once, you're just an ass.
he would also build a garden with 40 wooden statues of famous men costing around $2,000 to make.
Sick.
That's each. Costing him double.
Oh.
Yes. Each.
Who's the famous men? Like,
I will let you know. Costing him double the worth of the estate.
was that Wally Lewis? Jonathan Thurston.
Thomas Brady.
These statues included George Washington, a guy called William Pitt. He was a British, a former prime minister in Britain. He was well known he was called the Commoners Minister.
Yeah.
He was a Whig. You know who the Whigs are?
No.
No.
No, they're essentially Labour. So he was for the people. He was against single rule. So he was against a full monarchy of power. And he was the prime minister between in the mid 18th century. And so he was well known and a supporter of the American Revolution, and actually advocated for the British to come to deals with America. Well, I say America, the colony, and so that they would remain in power, but the colonies would receive what they were demanding.
Yeah.
But the government was being stubborn,
Of course they were.
they refused to listen to him, and that essentially caused the American Revolution.
Yeah. America.
He also had Napoleon Dynamite. Dynamite. Oh my goodness.
Fantastic
Bonaparte.
film.
Fantastic. But no, this one is Bonaparte, not Dynamite.
Yeah.
Napoleon Bonaparte, Louis the 16th, Adam and Eve, John Hancock, and Thomas Jefferson.
Nice.
Funnily, Tim hired a painter to paint his statues. When Tim was checking on the painter was in the process of writing Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Declaration. Upon seeing it, Tim claimed that Jefferson was the author of the Constitution, which is an exceptionally bad mistake considering it had been less than 20 years that the Constitution was penned. They got into a massive argument, at which point Tim stomped off. The painter continued writing the D, the E, and the C before Tim came out with his gun firing it towards him.
Oh, jeez. Come on, man. That's a bit much.
The painter quickly changed it to Thomas Jefferson, the author of the Constitution.
So he comes out and shoots the guy.
He comes out and just starts firing his gun. He's like, this is my resource here, and this is what I'm saying. It is the Constitution, not the Declaration.
I am paying you to write Constitution, mate, and you'll do it.
Absolutely.
Or you'll feel 50 cc's of lead.
Yeah. So
could have been worse. You could have come out with a bag of stray cats.
And they're hungry.
So I just think of the Simpson character of the
old lady. Yeah.
However, the garden could not be complete without the most famous figure in history, Timothy Dexter himself, with one report stating that he had 2 statues of himself. Under his statue, the inscription read, "I am the first in the East, the first in the West, and the greatest philosopher in the Western world."
Hang on a minute. Is this Will Smith's son?
Is it Jaden? No,
Is it Jaden Smith? Have you seen some of Jaden Smith's tweets?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they are phenomenal. It's like, if babies could speak, they'd be the smartest beings in the universe. How can trees be real if our eyes aren't? Like, just dumb stuff like that. Yeah.
This
Give
guy.
me a second. Yeah. Oh, I can't find the bit. Oh, here it is. The Great Gatsby is one of the greatest movies of all time, Coachella. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't? Anything you see in any magazine ever is fake.
That's kind of true, though.
You can discover everything you need to know about everything by looking at your hands. If a bookstore never runs out of a certain book, does that mean nobody reads it or everybody reads it? Most trees are blue.
Oh.
Jaden Smith, greatest philosopher of our time.
Most trees are blue.
Yeah.
What state does he live in?
I don't know.
California?
Probably. Yeah, but this is before the was legal.
All right.
This was coming from a man who neither contributed to the field of philosophy nor ever read a single book on the subject. However, it was speculated that this garden was an attempt to lure young women.
Oh, okay.
Which it did, but he was unsuccessful in seducing them.
Oh, no.
And he promptly blamed his family, claiming they were sabotaging his happiness.
So he's just gotten dementia in his old age.
Just gone a bit bonkers.
This is what I mean, that he just started getting a little bit wild and a little bit all over the place.
Oi, wife! Stop keeping me from banging young hotties.
Stop cock-blocking me.
Damn, my wife and kids are real cock-blocks.
This was the result. Nice little transition there. This was the result of underlying issues facing Timothy with his relationship with his family, suffering greatly for many years before he had his green thumbs. His wife was well known to be quick-tempered and constantly scolded him. However, this may have been warranted, as his now lavish lifestyle influenced his roving eyes, with one report claiming he turned his house essentially into a personal brothel, holding wild parties. He also had the finances for heavy drinking. However, he had rules around his drinking. He never drank in the morning and never conducted business in the afternoon.
All right. I mean, if it works, it works. Booze up.
I mean, it worked for all of his life.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
The 1700s.
So hang on. Where's this wife been the whole time when he's been selling stray cats to?
She's been there. However, what the issue is that she constantly was leaving the house and living somewhere else. She didn't really want to have much to do with him. And so she would eventually leave, and he would then get his son, who was just as stupid as he was. And he, for example, this is his son. He convinced his father to make him the captain of a ship and transport it over to England. When he arrived there, he decided to gamble all of his father's possessions in the boat, losing. And so he came back with nothing. This is the lifestyle of the family.
Lifestyle's the rich and famous, eh?
So when she left, the son then promptly came and lived with the father, and that's when they started turning the house into a personal brothel.
Doing it for his kids.
He's looking after his children. He had a son and a daughter. Timothy would be savagely beaten.
Oh,
whoa, that's a turn.
Yes, I did that. I did that on purpose. Now, I couldn't confirm if this was one event or two, but I'm going to treat it as two.
All
okay. Right. He would be beaten up by a lawyer. After I suspect
Dan Sickles, was it?
different time periods. After I suspect Tim tried to pursue his wife or mistress.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. On another instance.
Could have been worse. Could have been shot on the footpath of the White House.
Yeah.
Yes. Tim got jealous of a friend who had a young woman captivated by his stories. Timothy, in his jealous rage, assaulted the young woman. She then ran to her friend, who would take his carriage and find Tim. He grabbed Tim and forcibly placed him over his knee, where the friend would spank him so hard repeatedly, he ended up bleeding down to his heels.
Oh.
Apparently, Tim had an epiphany because this event would curb his behavior for a time.
Hang on a minute. What if I sell spanking rods?
Yeah.
Imagine there's a grown man getting spanked.
Do you bleed?
Do you bleed? Right. And this is the thing that I read. I was researching this, and I came across this story, and I just went, this is so bizarre that, first off, he would allow himself to be placed over the knee and to be spanked.
Don't king shame Adam.
I don't think this was something that was pleasurable.
I don't know. He didn't stop it.
Yeah, he didn't stop it.
Sounds like he quite enjoyed himself, Adam.
You said it happened twice.
Wouldn't happen to have been a spider.
I didn't say it happened twice.
No, he got beat up.
Yeah. But I just find that whole scene to be hysterical.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Just ridiculous. He would frequently tell his visitors that his alive wife was dead.
Okay.
And the woman they saw walking around the house was simply her ghost.
Nice.
He's a player. He's a player.
She's dead. That's my wife. So we can hear her talking. I know. We all believe she's here.
It's a tragedy.
I still hear her in my heart too.
I still hear her as well. They say she's not truly dead until you stop hearing her.
Stop telling people I'm dead, Timothy. Shit.
Nothing seemed to be working for him socially, and it was accredited to him as his only failure in his life: acceptance from his peers.
Probably because he's getting spanked.
It certainly doesn't give you a props up in the society of a man being spanked. But it has been suggested.
How old was he at this point? Like 60?
Well, this section here is kind of interspersed in his luck of the trade.
Oh, okay.
So this is closer to the end of his life right now. But it has been suggested that his need for acceptance and his failure to be accepted was due to his wife and her family never considering him a peer and socially lower class.
Oh, well, that's sad.
It's very sad. So they trump it up to his behavior being one of not being able to be accepted by the people he probably loved the most.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Real downer.
Yeah.
Laughing the whole time.
You feel like a jerk.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how he responds. In response, he would write a book.
Nice.
when he turned 50 called A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, where it complains about politicians, clergy, and his wife. As an uneducated man, this was certainly an achievement. Now,
I write book.
I have something for you. I actually downloaded the book.
Nice.
And
you want us to read a passage?
I want you to read a section. Okay.
All right.
Now, it is quite interesting.
Okay.
All right. I didn't read it all, and you'll understand why.
All right.
Okay. Now, I've highlighted a section. It's just the first couple of lines of the book. Okay. But I want you or John to give it a go.
I'll take the honors.
Yeah, go for it, boy.
All right.
All right. This is the first chapter.
Okay. The title, The Pickle, from the Museum of Lord Timothy Dexter.
And when did he become a lord?
So that is self-titled. Self-titled.
Sorry, you just said the pickle. All I can think of was, I'm Pickle Rick.
So this is his opening sentence.
Okay.
I'm the first lord in the United States of a mercenary now of new... What? This makes no sense.
What, he wrote that?
He wrote this. This is what he wrote.
I'm the first lord in the United States of A, mercenary now of Newburyport. It is the voice of the people and I can't help it, and so let it go.
Now...
He left school at 8, remember?
He left school at 8.
Grade 1.
No,
He's spelt united, Younited. He's spelt voice, Voise. People is Peopel. And go is Goue. This might be language of the time, but...
No, it is not.
Okay.
Now, I'm wondering if you can notice something that isn't there.
Any grammar?
Any grammar.
There's no grammar whatsoever. There's no punctuation, nothing.
There's a comma.
No, in the actual thing at the bottom, there is nothing. So he just wrote it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just spewed it out on the page.
Now, you probably asked, like, how did he get this printed?
Yeah.
He got this printed by doing it himself.
Okay.
So this is self-published.
Wow. That's somewhat impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. However, this is where I think this is just badass. His book would cement him in history as becoming extremely popular, being reprinted 8 times.
Wow. It's
Yes.
like Harry Potter level.
However, it could be contributed to the fact that people thought that the book would have his secrets in business.
Okay.
No, they died.
Yeah.
His business secrets died of old age, trying to trick him into losing his money.
I also thought that maybe if I can try to put at least this on your socials.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because I think it's fun to try to read it.
Oh, I tried reading the rest of it.
Struggled, yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah.
And I think you need to appreciate it by looking at it.
Yeah, it is unbelievably difficult to read.
So was that on the New York bestsellers list? New York Times bestsellers list?
Considering that it's sold so many, you could say yes, it would have been on the number 1 New York bestseller list.
There you go.
The book did face some criticism for its lack of punctuation,
Can't imagine why.
unorthodox spelling, and capitalizations. In 1802, it would get a second edition.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Some spicy bonus content.
Yes. In which Tim would add a final page with 11 lines of various punctuation marks for readers who complained to insert them wherever they see fit. Or
Nice.
as he put it, they may pepper and salt it as they please.
Nice.
All right.
That's where I just
cop that.
I read that. I just went, that is so badass.
That's pretty baller.
Cop that, critics.
I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Cut these out and paste them where you need them.
Put them where you want them.
Yes. It's just hilarious.
You got the gist of it.
Yeah, you understand what I was trying to get at.
You got it.
At one point before his death, he wanted to see how many people would react to his passing.
Oh,
don't do that.
He's faked his own death.
Don't ever do that because it's not what you want.
So he faked his own death. He bribed his family, and 3,000 people attended his wake.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
fortunately, he got a massive insurance paid out.
Yeah.
His wealth increased.
And then he bought some gloves.
This is when it kind of turns a
Against him?
180. He then noticed his wife didn't cry, and so and some reported that she was smiling. So he promptly revealed himself and told everyone about the hoax, and then caned his wife for not sufficiently mourning his death in front of those attending.
Wow.
Yeah,
Caned her.
caned her.
Jeez.
Yeah. So this guy is all over the place.
Yeah,
he's
he's
manic.
a loose cannon.
He's manic.
Yeah.
Eventually, he would pass away in 1806.
And I bet you very few people believed it. I know what he's up to here.
Yeah. The boy who cried wolf, eh?
At the funeral going,
Yeah.
where
is he?
Is he going to bust out behind that curtain any minute now?
That body is obviously 2 pillows in a sack.
This is actually far longer than anyone would expect, considering his wild lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is contributed. So he was 59 when he passed away. It is attributed to his nurse, Lucy Lancaster, an African American woman who Tim thought was descended from a royal African prince.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any evidence of that, or he just
No,
thought it?
just thought it. There's no evidence that she was. She would be the only one who would be able to control Tim and was the peacemaker between him and his family. Despite everyone looking down on him, Lucy had much respect for Tim, only having high praise for him, stating he was an honest man who never took advantage of his workers. Days before his death, he attempted to atone for his sins and gave inheritance. Oh my goodness!
Inheritance.
Yes, inheritance to his wife and children, none of which liked each other.
Oh.
And after his death, he will leave his fortune for the poor of Newburyport.
Well, aside from the fact that he lied about you'll go to hell if you don't have the Bibles, he was pretty good.
That's true. Yeah,
He was pretty good. He beat his wife
Oh, yeah, I did forget about that bit
and
briefly.
beat another woman. He had a
Yeah.
brothel in his house. Oh, he's still a good
Yeah,
guy.
he got
All right,
spanked for that. He
You're
got
right.
his punishment. He got spanked for that.
That's fine. He did get spanked. He did serve his time over a man's knee.
He was a good man.
Okay, he wasn't. Fine. But he was
So-
a lucky man and a fun man to hear
Yeah.
about.
So here's the after hearing his story,
Yep.
do you think which side of the coin do you sit?
Lucky.
Do you think he's lucky?
He's
He's not
lucky.
an intelligent man?
Idiot savant, like you said.
only one I think could have been smart business sense was the cats.
And not the Bibles?
Why,
Yeah, okay, yeah, the
why the
Bibles too.
cats?
Because there's no way that he rounded up stray cats to send them to Portugal just as Portugal. Was it Portugal?
No, it wasn't
No.
Portugal. It was the East.
Portugal was the gloves.
It was Caribbean.
Yeah. There's no way that he was
Caribbean.
rounding up cats to send them to the Caribbean without knowing about the fact that they had a rat problem. Why would you do it?
Because the people told him to.
But-
That
But then even just the amount of luck that would take.
I mean, these
What about the luck and
Yeah,
the
all
cold?
right.
these same
Okay.
guys have told you to do
Yeah.
4 or 5 other things, and they've all worked out. And then they go
True.
round up all these stray cats and send them to the Caribbean.
I guess, yeah. It just, that one to me, that one stands out as the one that he could have known about.
Yeah. So I'm kind of torn.
Yeah.
I think that he was a bit 50-50. Like
Yeah.
here's the issue about Timothy Dexter. I think there's a lot more myth than facts.
Mm.
And you could tell that by the amount of people who have written about him all have a different perspective.
Yeah, true.
And so I think it was luck,
Yeah.
but I think he might have just been a little bit one of those, he
Just-
saw a market.
Yeah, he
and,
saw it coming.
Yeah.
Deserves a little bit more credit than
Yes.
you.
I guess also, the people that were writing history at the time were the people that didn't like him.
Yes, they did. They
So,
certainly did. But
yeah.
his infamy or him being famous
Yeah.
was more to do with the people than the aristocrats.
Okay. True.
And it was the people who kind of thought this is the real American dream being
Yeah.
lived out in this man who was extremely rich.
yeah.
It was
2 statues of himself rich.
yes. I do have some facts about those statues. You can keep it or not. It's up to you.
Keep it or delete it.
Yep. So after his death,
Yep.
those statues were there, and they remained there until 1815, in which
Okay.
a massive storm came through and destroyed a lot of them.
Yep.
They would go into auctions,
Yep.
only selling between 50 cents to $5.
Wow.
And those ones that didn't get sold got burnt.
Oh.
And so they're lost in history. We'll never get them back.
Are any of them still around?
No,
Oh, Well.
because they were just useless stuff.
yeah.
And so they got destroyed, and they only sold for a fraction.
Yeah.
And I
You
find
said $2,000 each, right?
they were $2,000 each, and they
Jeez.
only sold for 50 cents to $5, depending on
Sheesh.
I would have bought one.
I mean, probably, yeah. 50 cents. Although I guess that was like a week's wages back then.
Yeah,
So,
you're probably right.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Well.
that's the story of Timothy Dexter,
Good story, Adam.
the luckiest man in history.
Good tale.
Thank
He
you.
definitely does seem like the luckiest guy in history. Maybe we could do a luck month.
Luck month.
Yeah.
Luck month.
Yeah. You got Unsinkable
potluck.
Sam. You got the chick that was on 3 sinking boats. There's a few.
I could do my plane survivors.
Yeah. We could do luck month. Anyway, good story, Adam. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm more than welcome. I'm more than happy to come back.
And you're more than welcome back because it means we don't have to do any research for a week.
and I do have a few stories that I can share.
Good. Well, we're going to bank those soon, I'm sure,
Mm-hmm.
and we will disperse them throughout the year in various forms. Anyway, yeah, thanks for listening to us this week. As always, you've got the social medias, the @CheekyTalesPod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Give us a follow there, and you'll get up-to-date information on what we're up to. There's also a link tree there, so you can find all your links to the podcast and send them out to your friends.
Share the podcast with your friends, families, people that.
Send it to your enemies. Send it to your friends.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, send it to the enemies. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know a lucky idiot, send it.
Send it to them.
Oh, this is the story of your life right here.
Humanely spray it onto a stray cat. Humanely, I said.
No, all serious. If you can share the podcast, that'd be great.
Yeah.
We're still growing. It is the best way for us to get out and about.
Yeah.
Just word of mouth. So
Even just share the Facebook posts. Get us to your friends' ears.
thank you to the people who do that
Yeah, really appreciate it.
every fortnight. It helps. We have fun times doing this. We have fun times bringing in special guests like Adam. Tell us a tale,
Yeah.
and we can make jokes with each other and derail him constantly.
You know, I kind of feel that this was a lot better than what Sean experienced.
Yeah.
Because Sean, you can hear his frustrations
We have
through
got
the
a
mic.
lot of feedback
I mean,
about
you
that.
just didn't get frustrated at it. we were pretty much the same. We're looking at each other making jokes.
You could just cut the tension with a knife,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
painful, but also it was just amazing.
Yep.
Because I could just imagine Sean just wallowing in his just frustration.
And that's pretty much exactly what it was like. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back in another fortnight. I think it's my turn.
Your turn.
So
We're not doing like Sean Vember, where we tell Adam a story. We're just going to go back into a regular, schedulized.
I might consider doing that if you would like to come back for another week, Adam.
Yeah, I'm happy to come
then.
back.
Cool.
If the listeners want to listen to my voice.
All right. Well, we will tee that up, and you'll either be here next fortnight or you won't. You'll be here another fortnight.
This will be out in the start of February, won't it? So
Yeah, this will be the
it's February.
Adamuary.
February. February.
Let's petition.
Adamuary.
Let's petition this. Let's get this changed.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. We will see you in a fortnight. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.